and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ad America TV. My name is Genara, and I am one of the e-guides here in Ad America. I hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy today. And if you're new here, Ad America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. This afternoon, we'll be having another episode of Get a Hot Job, Software Developer. But before we begin today's session, let's spice things up with a little trivia. Our trivia question for today is, in what decade was the first software developed? Is it A, 1930s, B, 1940s, C, 1950s, or D, 1960s? Stay tuned until the end of our event because we will be giving a live shout out for those who can answer the question correctly. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag Ad America's Instagram account. And now, without further ado, let's give the warmest welcome to our moderator for today, Ralfi Imara Nasution, host and radio announcer. Kak Ralfi, the time is yours.
Good afternoon. Hello semuanya. Thank you for joining today's session on Get a Hot Job, Software Developer. Sebelumnya maaf, suara agak kacau kali ya. Ini habis komentatornya pertandingan bola basket beberapa hari berturut-turut agak teriak-teriak. But I'm really happy to be here. I'm glad to be here dan bisa ngomong sama orang-orang yang luar biasa juga dengan pekerjaan yang sangat berat. Minggu lalu juga menjadi moderator di salah satu episode untuk Get a Hot Job untuk digital marketer. So this week we're gonna be talking a lot about software developer. But major shout out untuk Ad America for having me as a moderator. I have always loved Ad America. Setiap di PP pasti selalu mampir. Love the events and hopefully bisa kesana lagi. Bisa menjadi moderator langsung dari Ad Amerikanya. But today, we're going to talk about software developer. So we have two amazing speakers for today. Yang pertama, let me introduce you Devina Juarsa, product owner at The Catalyst. Hello. Hi, Kak Devina.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm going to read a short brief about you first. Kak Devina is a product management professional with a demonstrated history of working in the investment management industry. And she is currently working as product owner at the Catalyst, the engineering arm behind Bang Jago digital app. And she graduated from the University of Southern California with a bachelor's degree in business administration and management. Thank you for joining and making the time, Kadefina.
Thank you.
And our next speaker, we have two speakers for today, is Fania Ratmila Alfitri, iOS engineer at Gojek and co-founder of Generation Girl. Hello, atau akrab disapa Kak Mila.
Hi, yes, correct.
Hi.
Thanks for having me, or thanks for having us.
So, Camila is an engineering professional who is currently working as an iOS engineer at Gojek, and she is also a co-founder of Generation Girl, a non-profit organization that empowers Indonesians with accessible and industry-ready STEM skills. She earned her bachelor's degree from Oregon State University in Business Information System. Wow, ini keren-keren banget speakers kita hari ini. Dan akan membahas satu topik yang hampir ya, I have no knowledge about. Itu adalah software developing ya. So, if you're new here too and you want to learn more, ini sebenarnya kayak kelas gratis ya buat aku pun. Aku bisa belajar tentang banyak hal. Minggu lalu digital marketing. Minggu ini, let's see bisa dapat apa aku tentang software developer. Thank you juga buat teman-teman yang udah join via Instagram Live, via YouTube, dan platform-platform lainnya untuk episode minggu ini of Get a Hot Job Software Developer. So, first thing first, silakan juga boleh drop komen pertanyaan yang ingin bertanya-tanya seputar dunia software developing, bisa di Instagram, bisa di YouTube, bisa di Twitter, bisa di mana-mana, dan nanti di akhir presentasi dan di akhir chit-chat session itu akan Ralfi bacain semua pertanyaan yang ditulis sama teman-teman. So, sepertinya speaker sudah menyiapkan satu presentasi, introduction mungkin tentang software developing, tentang diri mereka sendiri, tentang karir path mereka, pokoknya semua tentang software developing dan everything around it. So, kalau begitu, Kak Devina, I think you are up first.
Okay.
Silakan.
Okay. Hi, my name is Davina. Yeah, can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Davina Juarsa. So yeah, I graduated from the University of Southern California in 2015. It's already 7 years ago, and I actually majored in business administration. So right after I graduated, I actually joined an investment firm. It's called Provident Capital. And long story short, although I've always liked the finance world, I'm always intrigued by the rapid change in the tech industry. And that's why I decided to join the Catalyst 4 years ago. So it was right when the Catalyst started, and I was more of a project manager back then. But for the past 2 years, I have been a full-time product owner. Yeah. And that, I guess that's why I'm here. So yeah, if you can move to the next slide. Next slide. Yeah, this is just my quick introduction. Next slide. So these are the things that I normally do. And yeah, so as a product owner, I personally enjoy it when I see people use our app. But what gives me more joy is when people tell me how our app can be useful in their daily life. So in order to do that, right? So here are some of the things that I do as a product owner. So I do daily check-in with my engineers, check any production issues, do research with the research team, write requirements for new feature, and then translate it to user stories so that engineers like Mila can actually start working on it, and then groom it with the engineers, test new features, and yeah, and then make sure that whatever features that we're shipped out is approved by the risk and compliance team. And on top of all of this, I basically have to make sure that I'm available to answer any questions from all of the stakeholders and share, all of the people that are involved in making this product. So it's pretty dynamic what a product owner does, and I feel like it's a lot of fun because you can choose what to do with your feature, and yeah, you get to interact with different people from different departments. So yeah, that's a quick introduction about me and my job. Next slide, I'll talk more about the Catalyst because I don't think any of you guys have heard about the Catalyst. But we are a tech company that focuses on solving problems through digital solution. We're actually the engineering team behind Jago app. I hope you guys have heard of Jago. Yeah, and we have an office in Jakarta, Singapore, and India. I'm actually part of the Singapore office. And basically, we have a mission to stimulate growth through technology and enabled by collaborative environment that fosters creativity and innovation. Yeah, if you guys are interested at the Catalyst and want to know more, please feel free to visit our website. I think next slide, it'll just display our website. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. That's a quick introduction from me.
Thank you, Kak Devina. Thank you very much for the quick introduction on what you actually do, and we're going to talk more through the chit-chat session. But before we get into that, masih ada satu presentasi lagi nih yang ingin disampaikan oleh Camilla. So, Camilla, the time is yours.
Yes, just a sec. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yep, cool. Hi everyone. My name is Mila and I'm an iOS engineer at Gojek.
I'm gonna run through a couple of slides on what an iOS engineer does, and a couple of stints I do with Generation Girl to empower women in tech. So let's get right to it. Aside from being a software engineer, specifically in iOS, I also am an environmentalist. What I mean by that is I'm passionate about reducing plastic waste and basically having this lifestyle of not doing basically consumerism a lot. Also, I'm also a cat parent. I have one cat. So yeah. I also like board games, and I think gaming is actually a problem-solving skill that I'm happy to announce that is actually needed in software engineering. What does an iOS engineer do? So I mostly do a lot of the things that basically stand up, and also coding as well. Basically, an iOS engineer makes an app for the iPhone. So this is what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. It's a lot of fun. We work with designers and we work with product managers to actually discuss on what the market needs currently, and also what does the design would look like so that I can translate the design into code. So this is just like a sample app that I make for fun, usually on weekends. Yeah, just to test out my skills. And also a product that I did as an individual contributor was for groceries app in Gojek. It's called GoMart, and I specifically worked on the filtering of the basically this screen. So if you type milk, and then it'll show like the results for milk, and then if you type fresh tea, for example, it'll show like the results for fresh tea. Apart from that, I was also a bootcamp mentor for the new joinees in Gojek. So a lot of the graduates that have not had experience developing iOS apps, they have 5 days to learn from zero, knowing nothing, to being able to showcase something on the last day and make a simple app. So that was really, really fulfilling. Software engineer doesn't always code, and it's not just about like stuck in a desk and not representing the company. So I've had a few speaking engagements where I talked in IDX channel representing Gojek, basically for their Women in Tech program as well. So yeah, it's a lot of public speaking as well, sharing the technology, and also serving the community. These are the 4 things that work for me in finding the quest to find passion. I think I'm going to talk about that in a little more detail later on if the question comes up. But since I have only 10 minutes, so I think I'll stop here.
Okay.
For now.
All right. Thank you, Camila, for also the awesome presentation. Okay. Oh, my pencil. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Kak Devina dan juga Camila for the presentation. So, mulai sekarang teman-teman yang nonton juga udah bisa drop pertanyaannya. Jadi silahkan ke YouTube-nya Amerika atau ke Twitter, ke Instagram, semuanya bisa. Oh, nih, in addition to that, Camila katanya she learned on her own. Is that right?
Yes, I learned on my own.
Making websites for fun on a weekend.
Yep.
No. Okay. So let's just start talking and discuss about this world of software development that I know nothing, close to nothing about. Well, actually, nothing sih sebenarnya. So, what at the moment, what do we need to know as a person who does not know anything about
Mm.
the software development world?
Yeah.
Minta
Yes.
Camila dulu kali ya.
Okay. I would say software development is one of those job that is cross industry. Say so, for example, if you like music, then you can think about like how does Spotify being made? Like how does it work? Like not just from a consumer perspective, but in a development perspective. Like how do they actually make the app, and how do they come up with the UI, for example? So things like this actually, like this curiosity gets it going actually. So I think one of the things that you need to have is a lot of curiosity, because it's going to be learning after learning, and even if you've reached one specific technology, then that technology will evolve, and then you'll also have to learn the new ones as well. So it's a lot of constant learning, which I love as well.
Constant learning and just be creative with it, right?
Yes.
Camila. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, what about from you, Kadafina? What do we need to know about the software development world?
For me, I feel like it's very agile, and I know that this word is very cliche, especially in this software development word, but I actually think it's very true. Requirements, whether it's driven by customers who always change their behaviors, regulators or security or other things, right? If requirements can change in a matter of days, weeks, days, and yeah, I feel like despite our best effort to make sure the requirements are fixed, it's always changing, and yeah, that's why I feel like it's very agile world, um, and that comes only from the requirement side. And also, if you take a look at the technology side, it also changes very rapidly. Um, the language that we're using, right? It changed. I mean, for the past 2 years, we've changed to like 3 languages, and it's very important for engineers to have a habit of keeping up with the latest developments, yeah, in this kind of world. And yeah, for me as a product designer, as a product owner, I feel like it's just very fast how the customers change, and that's why we put a lot of emphasis on customer research, monitoring, and basically like getting feedbacks from our users. I feel like at the end of the day, whatever we're trying to build, we just have to make sure that it's suitable for users, and yeah, and just make sure that it actually enhances their life. It helps them, yeah.
So it's actually a world that focuses on the end user and focusing on whether the tools really help the end customers, right? See, I know nothing about software development, so I'm really sorry if I'm talking a lot of nonsense here. But I'm
No,
trying.
don't be sorry. This is
No,
great.
but yeah, but you are the end user, right? So
Yes, I am. I am.
you are
That's why. That's why. That's why I am. I am the end user. I use apps like Jago and Gojek every day. I'm actually a nasabah untuk Jago juga. So yeah, and Gojek. So I'm actually the end user right here. You're facing your end user. Moving on. So what are the reasons? A couple of them maybe. Why do you pursue a career in the software development field? Do you just one day you wake up? I want to work on the software development world and such.
Yeah.
Camila, mungkin?
Should I okay, cool. So yeah, believe it or not, I when I was in college on my third year, I never really dreamed to be a software engineer. Like I just hated it. And also the major that I took, business information systems, is actually geared towards being a product owner, or a project manager. But we did have a few CS, computer science classes. So yeah, I just wanted to graduate and actually got a job, and I did after graduation. Um, but I actually like coding after graduating. So I found this book on how to make a website from scratch, and I really got hooked into it. And I think it's just a problem of realizing that you like something after that school time is done. So had I found this early on, it will the education that I've been having really resonates, right? But I wouldn't say it was too late, because the learning just starts from there and it keeps going from there. So I got an internship as a software developer, and also I got a job after as well. But I was also like on the side, just to build out my portfolio. I was making websites for nonprofit organization from scratch, like with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It was really fun, and I was willing to do it, even pro bono, just because to me it's like art and engineering mixed together. So yeah, I think once you know where your happiness is, then it will just go from there.
So first time you learn coding and such, you actually kind of don't like it.
Yeah. And then I
Mhm.
found out that it actually helps people with me volunteering with these
Yeah.
nonprofit organization. They didn't have a lot of money to hire developers, so I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I can make your website
Oh,
portfolio.
and that drove you into liking actually
Yeah,
making websites and codes.
yeah, yeah. Or like front end development. So in
Yep.
software engineering, there's either you work on the back end or in front end, and I do mostly front end because it resonates a lot with
Mhm.
what I like, which is art, and also it's like you're making a painting with code, basically. So yeah, that's how I put it.
Awesome. Thank you, Camila. Hopefully, you can inspire others into finding what they like as well. Kadifina, have you ever dreamt about being a product owner when
Actually,
you were
no.
in college or high school or
No.
even elementary school?
No, I
No.
actually, yeah, same with Miller. I actually, my major is quite different. My major is business administration. It's more, yeah, it's more about the finance world, right? And right after I graduated, I actually was an investment professional at a VC, and it just happened during that time. We were looking a lot of deals in the tech industry, and I was just super impressed with this new startups. Yeah, and seeing the growth of these new startups, it makes me curious to know more about this, like how to actually develop this product. And that's why I joined the Catalyst back then. Yeah. And yeah, I've been a product owner for 3 years, and I actually enjoy what I'm doing. And yeah, I like the fact that our feature, our product can help someone. Like it's just it can make them do something with less effort. I enjoy that. And yeah, in the beginning it was quite hard because it was quite different than what I'm accustomed to. I'm more accustomed with like numbers, doing things in Excel, and then like when I switch career, right, I have to know about like all of these different practices about software development and how I have to learn how to work together with engineers and yeah, researchers, designers. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's quite meaningful to me, the work that we're doing. And yeah, yeah, for example, one of the features that we built is a feature called spend analysis, and it's just the first version now that we are having. But it helps users to make rational decisions when planning when they plan about their spending. And I feel this kind of things it actually can help a lot of people. Yeah, so I really like what I do.
So is there any event, like a turning point event, that made you want to work in this industry?
Actually, at first, I just want to try it out. It looks fun because like I get to. At first, we were doing a lot of focus group discussions with the end users, and it's just for me, it's fun to talk to like different people and see what they want, like especially in the in that banking app, yeah, related stuff. But when Jago launched, that's really the point where I feel like okay, it's worth it. Because unless our product is being used by the end users, then it's just nothing. It's just we can dream whatever we want, but unless it makes a difference in someone's life and they keep using it, then it becomes something that's quite fulfilling, not only for me but for
Yep.
whole engineering team behind it. So yeah.
Well, I have to thank both of you for making my life easier then. Uh, with Gojek and Jago. Moving on, based on your experience, graduated from the United States, I have a question. Are there any differences in the software development world and industry between the US and Indonesia? Uh, well, there's a lot, I assume, but what are the differences that you can tell us from your experiences?
I think in terms of workplace environment, I wouldn't say there's many differences. I, I've had I've had an experience working in the States and also being in the tech side, being a software developer there. The I wouldn't okay. What's another word for it? The processes that we do, like stand up and estimating stories, making stories, it's all the same as it is here. And yeah, I would say I can prove this hypothesis as well because whenever I do an interview, for example, the problems that that we encounter if we are approaching to implement something, it's all the same. So there's not much difference.
Turns out I was wrong. There's not much difference at all. Kalau from Kak Devina, based on your experience, are there any differences?
I personally think it depends on the company you're working on or you're working at rather than the country itself. Because I feel like different companies have different way of working, and that makes a difference. Yeah, but from my side, I just noticed in the majority of Indonesian tech companies, the product owner can be like quite dominating to the point that like they will decide all of the technical flow. So yeah, that often happens when the company puts the sole responsibility of the software development process on the product owner instead of the whole team. But I would say like in more international companies or like the Catalyst, we actually work together with the researcher, designer, yeah, engineers, everyone. It's not like the product owner will drive everything. We actually often have great ideas from the engineering team as well. And yeah, I feel it's just the degree of participation that I feel like is quite different. Um, yeah, depending on the company, like what kind of working environment
Mm.
and yeah way of working they want to they want to put for the whole team.
Yep. So it turns out it all depends on the companies, and actually, there's no much difference between the US and Indonesia in terms of the software development world and industry. But being a software developer for Camila and a product owner that can work very closely with software developers, I want to ask about the benefits that only a software developer has and also a product owner has working in this field? Mungkin ya Camila boleh deh.
What are the benefits?
Yes, the benefits, the pros.
The pros. I guess a software developer focuses on you really contribute to that app, right? Like you actually put something into the app, and it just feels more tangible because you actually work on a specific code. And if you're creative, you're on the creative side, this is something that that is probably fulfilling for you. But on the downside is, sometimes we would get siloed because there's not communication with. There are some communication with other teams, but maybe not as much as a product owner. So product owner is probably more into maybe delegating and also communicating with different stakeholders. And developers, we don't need to deal with any of that. We just focus on actually pushing code, making sure it's deployed on production, and if there's a bug, we need to fix it. But it all depends on what your fulfillment is. I think there's people that actually finds fulfillment by actually connecting with people, like communicating, talking with people. Being in meetings all day is no problem for you, but there are people that don't like that. We just want to work on code. We just want to code. So yeah, like productivity for us is pushing something in production. So yeah, I think there's just like ups and downs.
Yep. But one of the benefits of being a software developer, because you actually love doing it. So you have all the benefits in the world doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, and also like it's I feel like it's one of those rare careers where you can work anywhere around the world as long as you have a Wi-Fi.
Where are you right now, Kak?
I'm in Bali right now.
Kak Devina, where are you right now?
I'm in Singapore.
Singapore and Bali. I'm in J-Town, Jakarta City. So yeah, you're working from Bali. You can work anywhere, and Devina is in Singapore. So that's also one of the benefits, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. If you want to be a digital nomad.
Digital nomad. Kak Devina, how about you? What are the benefits that you felt of being a product owner and being able to work closely with a lot of software developers?
Yeah, I feel like Mila actually already talked about it, but yeah, I feel as a product owner, you get to know a bit of everything. So the high level stuff, right? We would understand, we would know about the challenges that our customers are facing. Yeah, and at the same time, we also since we would work closely with the engineers, we would also know what kind of challenges are they facing when implementing certain features, right? Yeah, and usually as a product owner, I try to not bug a lot of my engineers to a lot of meetings, just because I know most of them would prefer to just to work on their specific codes, get it done. So for a product owner, it's more of my responsibility to manage stakeholders' expectations. So let's say if there's a real problem where like the software engineer said I can't finish it, like so that becomes my responsibility to communicate with all the stakeholders why we can't finish it and what can we do to mitigate that. So yeah, I actually quite like playing that role, just because I get to understand and I get to kind of kind of weigh the pros and cons arising from different kind of challenges during the software development. Because sometimes, let's say we push for speed, right? Like, oh yeah, we have to ship this feature by next month, but quality can be compromised too. And this is something that is my job to weigh and like to communicate with everyone that there might be this issue if we push for certain angle. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, I have a question for you. But can, can you make apps as well? Can you code?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll never stop learning. But
Of
I
course.
feel like,
Of course.
yeah, my expertise is not in that coding.
But you get to know more about that because you're the product owner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So even like,
Like you
let's
know
say,
the surfaces of that.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I have, if we, let's say we're late for certain features or there's
Mm.
certain bugs, right? I still have to know what is the root
Yep.
cause so that I can explain it. I wouldn't like
Exactly.
I wouldn't just call the engineer just to like explain what's going on, right? It's just wasting their time. They could
Yeah.
have,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, they can
Yeah.
use time to fix it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
You,
still have to know, but I wouldn't know, like I wouldn't be able to actually fix it.
yeah. You actually have to know why is the problem. What is the problem? Then you actually have to learn about it because you just can't speak out random words to the stakeholders and explain it why
Yeah,
it's postponed and the problem.
yeah.
Uh,
If there is like like someone complain about some features, right? It's my job to explain to, let's say, the customer service what to do,
mhm,
or
mhm.
like, yeah.
Yep. So, well, that's interesting. Uh, so working in the software development industry is mostly working in teams. Am I right?
Yes.
Working in teams, but at the same time working by yourself as well. What are the things that make a software developer great as a team player?
Hmm.
From you, maybe.
Yeah. I think having good communication skills is also needed. It's a soft skill that is undermined, but it's actually really needed.
Mhm.
And it's something that we look for our engineers as well at Gojek. If they fit the culture and they can actually communicate well. Um, Maybe no matter how introverted you are, if you can work with your colleagues, then that's already a big plus, right? And if you drive your colleagues away, then that's not a good thing as well. Um, so yeah, I think communication skills is really needed as a software developer. More than anything, I would say, because in terms of skill, for example, if you don't know a specific technology stack, you can always learn that. But it's not the most natural for anyone to have great communication skills.
So communication is key if you want to
Yeah,
be a great team player as a software developer or either working in this
yeah,
industry.
yeah.
And Ifina, as a product owner, what do you feel?
I feel the same. I mean, it's definitely one of the things that product any product owner should have, a communication skill, because then you have to talk to different stakeholders. But I would also say that it's important to have to be open minded and humble, because yeah, there we a lot of our inspirations come from different departments. So I feel like we should be more open minded and should listen to other people's suggestion, because they might actually surprise you.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's, I mean, we should always know that we might be wrong and not to jump to any conclusion. Yeah. So I actually like having session with engineers or with product designers to debate what are the best solutions for particular problems or particular flows. Yeah. So I think it's
Yep.
important to have great communication skill and
Yep.
be open minded. Yeah.
So just like any other job, communication and being open-minded and being able to talk to others is a great skill that you need to have if you want to work in this industry. Uh, Let me ask you this: what are the best things that are only available in this job? For Camila, it's being a software developer. For Cadefina, it's being a product owner. Let's start from Camila. The things that are only available in this
Only
job,
available
only available in this job.
for a software developer.
Yes.
Um. Hmm. It's very. It's a job where um you actually have to have hard skill.
Mm.
Um. and so the demand is high. And so as long as you're willing to put the hours in to learn, stay curious, I think you can be successful, and it's I feel like the demand is everywhere as well around the world. Anyone would need a developer or any kind of app. Um, mm,
Do you feel
yeah.
that there's a scarcity of software developers?
Maybe in specific.
Does the supply demand meet the supply?
Yeah, I feel like in specific technologies, people kept saying that there is a scarcity in iOS developers because people tend to, after being an iOS developer for a few years, they started going or learning other technology, like being an Android developer. So there is definitely a scarcity in being like a specialized person that really knows iOS development. So yeah, if you're that specialized, obviously your bargaining power is also high, right? I know someone that was able to, bargain his or her way into being able to work from anywhere, or else I'll go, for example, and then they said yes. So yeah, if you like to travel, I guess this is a nice job.
So you're telling us software developers always get what they want. It seems like a pretty a really fun job actually. If you're into coding, tech, and all the jazz, or maybe being a software engineer or developer may be the thing for you, just like Amila. Yeah, I might think of learning coding, but then
Yay.
it's too hard.
Anything
saw-
that's anything that's specialized, right? As it's like an artist, I would say.
Yep.
Like a designer is also the same thing, I
The
would say.
fingers making art.
Yeah.
Codes. Crazy. Kadifina, how about you? The best things that are only available in this job that you're doing right now.
I think to a certain degree we have the freedom to propose the features that we want to build. So I think that's good. Yeah, obviously, stakeholders would want us to build some like must-have features, but yeah, we get a degree of freedom where we can experiment with different flows, see how different flows affect the users experience and how the users behave. I feel that's just yeah, that's just very interesting. And yeah, I get to actually work together with developers from around the world, so that's another perks.
Yep.
I have a squad in Thailand and another one in Eastern Europe, and yeah, it's fun getting to know a lot of engineers. Yeah, and as Mila mentioned, right? Since people can work from anywhere around the world, then you get to meet interesting people.
Yep. From all around the world. So those are the best things that are only available for this job for Camila being a software developer engineer, Kadafina being the product owner. So there must be a lot of challenges also working in this field. Can you point us a few of them, Camila?
Challenges as a software developer.
You face challenges each and every day, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, it's many challenges, either whether it's technical, for example, maybe a bug or a crash that we have to be a detective to solve and find the root cause, or it's clientele related. For example, say, for example, we need to answer some questions as if we're customer service on why this specific feature in the app is not working. So yeah, I think I wouldn't say it's a problem. I think it's a really nice problem, a really nice challenge, and it actually challenges your communication skills as well. Again, with the communication skill. Yeah. So I think those are the things that I face so far as a software developer.
Is it a high pressure job? Do you feel?
I would say so, yeah. Especially when we have a specific date that we want to release. So yeah, it's very high pressure because everyone's counting on you to not mess up.
uh,
But
uh,
it's fun.
yeah, I figure. Kadefina, how about
Yeah,
you? The
same thing.
challenges.
Yeah, there's always pressure to ship the new features or like enhancements, and yeah, it's quite stressful because then you have to manage again the stakeholders expectation, right? And also not stressing out the engineers because well, you need them to be happy, right? If they're not happy, they cannot ship any new features or like there'll be bugs. So yeah, I think it's always challenging to balance the two. Mm.
So those are the challenges that you face quite a lot in the software development world or industry is facing maybe held backs that features that can't go out yet. So yeah, uh, I feel like I need to ask this too. Why do you feel that this job is promising for someone's career? Camila mungkin.
Mm, I would say it's promising because um, it's very flexible
Mhm.
as well. As long as your experience and in you're putting up the work
Mhm.
as well. There's a high demand. There's always new apps that we hear every day around the
Exactly.
world as well. And also one of those jobs that are great for women. I always encourage women to take it up because of this flexibility, being able to work maybe from home
Yep.
and not client facing. So you don't really need to face clients, right? Like you just push code and deploy it. And it's very hard skill, so it's always going to be in demand.
Yep.
I would say that's why it's a very promising job.
And
Yeah.
pays good money. That's the thing. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Pays really
And then
good
we'll
money.
end up
I
in
see.
like the movie Interstellar, where everyone is engineers, but not a single person knows how to farm. So yeah.
And then we'll live in that kind of world.
Yeah.
So yeah, this job I feel also this job is very promising because the digital industry is also developing, and people need to find developers as well, engineers to to if there's a lot of business nowadays,
Yeah.
startups,
Yeah.
and it's really in need of high demand of engineers or
Yeah.
developers. So
Yeah.
that's where you
Yeah.
guys step in.
Right. Because who's gonna develop the app?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of startups. Let's make
I
an
mean,
app.
you
Let's
can
make
have a
an app.
lot of
Let's make an app.
stakeholders.
Yeah, let's make an app.
Yeah.
Can you do it? Can you do it? No. Let's find
Yeah.
an engineer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's going on. Kadefina, why do you feel that this job is also promising?
Yeah, I feel like because many businesses have online presence now, right? And it's gotten to the point where it's necessary to have it. And yeah, so defining the user experience, I feel like it becomes a key factor to succeed in most industries. And yeah, that's why like there's a high demand for engineers, product owners, product designers also. And I feel like if you are interested in building your own business, it's always good to understand what is the end user's pain point and what is it that you are trying to do, and yeah, come up with a good user value proposition. So I feel like it's always good. It's a good exercise
Yep.
either way. Yeah.
Yes, and also it pays good money.
Yeah.
That's the thing I have to add. I like that. Okay, so turns out we have a lot of questions from the audience that we are gonna get into that later. But to close this chit chat session, what message do you have for the audience, maybe now who's looking for a job in this industry, or just finding something that they like that they want to pursue a career in? From Camila, maybe.
Yeah. Having like a high curiosity really helped. Had I not picked up that book and actually looked through the pages, or being frightened because oh it's coding, I will never be here today as an engineer. So the curiosity and that feeling of oh yeah I want to achieve this and actually have this website like with this color and this template. Just having that imagination, I would say, helps. And my rule of thumb is if I try it once and I don't like it, then it's okay. I can move on. At least I tried. But not trying at all is I would say is unfortunate. So yeah. So
Exactly.
that led me to this day.
Just go for it. Mungkin bahasa
Yep.
Indonesia modal
Do it.
nekat. Modal nekat pada awalnya.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Actually, I
Yeah.
did that a couple of days ago. So yeah. Just
Oh really?
just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Please.
Yeah. There's always a way. That's
There's always a
Gojek's
way.
motto.
You might feel fear in the beginning.
Pasti ada jalan.
Pasti ada jalannya. Kalau Kak Devina, do you have any messages for the audience?
Say what you guys said. Be open-minded,
Yep.
be curious, and just do it. I mean, when I first led the squad, right? When I first had my first squad, I was quite intimidated. I was quite young well, I'm still young, but then like I feel intimidated having to kind of work together with experienced engineers. But yeah, I feel like whatever, just do it, and I quite enjoy it.
Yep. So if that day didn't happen, you wouldn't be here today, and you would be doing a job that you actually like doing it. So, Camila, Kak Devina, thank you very much. That was a lovely chat session. But it turns out we have like 9 to 10 questions from the audience. So awesome. We'll just let's go with the questions now. Mita from Instagram. This is for the both of you. Oh, this is a fun question. Oh, let's start with Faiz first. Faiz from Instagram also asked, can you talk about a specific project that you completed successfully? Hey, can Camila?
Yep. Completed project that I did successfully was in groceries or GoMart in Gojek, where I developed their filtering system and search capability. So when you type like MIL, for example, it'll come up. It'll show like suggestions like milk or milk strawberry or milk chocolate, and then like once you tap on a specific one, it'll show results. So yeah, there was a lot of redesign for that product. And yes, and also some other things as well that I probably cannot say first.
Confidential.
Yet.
Confidential.
Yeah. I'm currently in GoSend feature. So there's a lot of exciting things.
So you are the person behind of my day-to-day life being easier. There's that. Thank you very much, Mila, for definitely. That. Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
Make my life a lot easier. Yeah. I have a lot of experience points on Gojek.
Awesome.
I use it every single day. Devina, how about you? Can you talk about a specific project that you completed successfully?
There's this feature inside Jago called Plan Ahead. It basically simplifies how you like paint how you paint things like recurring things. So example, you have monthly bill, right? So you can schedule all of your payments there, so you don't have to forget and pay for the late fees. So that project, we feel like it will be helpful for people to make sure that they pay all of their dues on time. So I'm quite happy with the how it how it's like how it is now in production. And yeah, it's great because it has that flexibility where you can like schedule different payments, even for billers. And yeah, even let's say you want to send to your mom every month, you can program it out so every month you don't have to like you wouldn't be worried that you're gonna miss out anything. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And that is actually making a lot of people lives easier with scheduling. So yeah. So those are a couple of projects that have been completed successfully from Mila dan juga Devina. Moving on to the next question for the both of you as well. What project management tools have you used
Mm.
in this industry? Mila, Kakak Mila.
Um, so Jira is a tool that we use for managing stories.
Mhm.
So, like, when we say stories, right? Maybe I should explain a little bit because it's probably a jargon that not everyone knows. But basically, it's kind of like a sushi chef. When he gets an order, he has a ticket, and that ticket includes like the menu that people want, right? So basically, a developer is like that. They receive tickets, and in those tickets, there'll be like things that the customer wants, like a feature. So this is what we call stories, and basically we use Jira to basically manage our stories, create one, and then see in the board whether it's currently in progress or currently um, is it done or is it in to do. So meaning it's not being picked up yet. So yeah,
Okay. So what was the name again? Yeah. Jira.
Jira, Jira.
Jira.
Jira,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Devina, are there any tools?
Same thing. We also use Jira.
Oh, okay. Jira. Jira for the win then.
Yes.
Uh, manage project management tools that's being used as Jira. Okay. Moving on, we still have a lot of questions to cover. So that one was from Mita from Instagram. Next one, Azumardi. A question for Mila. Did you learn programming for iOS apps on your own, or you answer this via chat, or
Ah,
through a
yeah.
university program? Yeah, or through a university program. But can you tell
Mhm.
us more about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So a little background story. So when I got into Gojek, I was doing mostly test automation, and that also involves coding, but in a different language, basically in Java. So I realized that I like development more instead of testing. So I basically talk to my boss and say something like I really want to learn mobile development, and I want to just test the waters on making iOS because it uses a completely different language and completely different tech stack, and just want to challenge myself. So yeah, and he was like, okay, when can you start? And we just took off from there. And basically, what was done was I actually had to make a few apps on my own, learning on my own as well, and also learning from other developers in the team as well. So yeah, that was the story.
So yeah,
um,
you learn on your own at first.
yeah, for
Ah,
sure. There's
uh,
many great resources out there.
mhm.
I personally go with Hacking with Swift.
Swift. Okay.
Um, yes, he's this cool guy from the UK that posts anything from not knowing how to code at all, even
Mhm.
to being able to release your first app on the App Store. So yeah,
Ooh, okay.
that is also a milestone for any iOS developers if they can push your own app in the App Store.
Of course. Of course. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Uh, so is there any platform that we can use to learn about software developer for free? For Kadifina also and Camila. You just mentioned one. Is there any platform that then we can use to learn about software developing and in
Um,
this industry for free?
yeah. Um, I can probably share maybe some links
Mm-hmm.
as a follow up question. But yeah, for specifically for iOS development, it was Hacking with Swift for me.
Just okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Delfina, do you have any references? You told us earlier that you're actually learning coding
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, because it's not free, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
because in the Catalyst we actually have like free subscription to Udemy.
Hmm.
So yeah, I actually use Udemy a lot.
Udemy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Udemy is a great start as well for dummies who want to learn about anything.
It's not
Yeah.
Udemy, it's Udemy actually.
I know it's a pun. My bad.
Yeah.
So moving on. Oh, this is for Kadefina up next. Uh, from Celine on Instagram Live. Hi, Kadefina. You said that you were from business administration major. Why did you shift your career, and how did you learn about software stuff in the beginning? And there's any challenging experience during process?
Yeah, because when I did business, right, I see there are a lot of opportunities in this tech world. So that's why I made this shift. And once I'm in it, I feel like it's really fun. It's more agile. It's very fast paced, and that's why I like it. There's always a need to learn new stuff. Whereas I actually have a CFA charter holder, so it's just well, finance is finance, right? I mean, you have to know the all of the theorems and you can apply it once you know it. But with this tech world, I feel like I always have to learn, and there's always new stuff, and that's why I really like it. Yeah, I actually learned by reading a lot of stuff. There's a lot of articles about Scrum or like agile methodology, and I actually learned the most from my colleagues. Yeah, I was lucky that I have few colleagues. They're more like very seasoned colleagues, and they basically guide me step by step how to be a great product owner. But other than that, yeah, I read a lot of articles, and yeah, I watch a lot of Udemy's and subscribe to a lot of Udemy's tutorials how to be good product owner or like Scrum. And yeah, it's just
Okay.
you need to you just need to be curious
Yep,
and
yep, that's enough.
learn different kind of
Yep,
things. Yeah.
yep. Being curious is enough to do a lot of things that can lead to a lot of things. Thank you, Kalifan, for the answer. Moving on. Ooh, from Aryo, for the both of you, maybe. In the US, a software developer can have a salary as high as 300,000. Yeah, 300K dollars USD. It's the same salary opportunity in Indonesia. Aryo from Instagram. I have to ask this, by the way. I have to ask this.
Yeah. Well, but that's kind of a tough question
Yep.
because it's we don't know if we don't know other companies,
Mhm.
right? Like how much they are
Yep.
basically putting a salary for software developers.
But what can you tell us is it's a high paying job. That's enough to answer the question, right? That's enough to answer the question.
Yeah.
It's a high paying job because there's a lot of demands. Back
Yeah.
again, there's a lot of demands from a lot of companies.
Yep.
And
That's more for HR. Like
oh yeah, yes, yes. HR. Maybe we'll have a get a hot job episode for HR
Exactly.
in a couple of weeks. So yeah. Uh there's still a couple of questions left. And the next question is, can you give maybe some words and message for someone who wants to be a software developer and working in this industry, but they're not sure enough for it? From
Okay.
Francisco.
Hmm. I guess the question is why they are not sure.
Mhm.
Um, but I think to answer that question, um, maybe take like a tutorial and see what you think
Mhm.
as a first step. And also decide, are you interested in like the visual side of software development, like making an app, or like do you care about like uh, making the colors in some way and seeing something in a screen? If that's yes on all the questions, then you can look into front end development. And if it's no, then it can be like backend development,
Mhm.
where you deal with databases and um, yeah, basically like making logic so that we can grab data. So yeah.
Okay. Take tutorials. That's a first move that you
Mm.
actually have to do on knowing that
Yeah,
making ourselves sure enough of what we do.
yeah, and I do this with myself as well. I really wasn't sure to begin with, and then I saw this really again, that book that was really intrigued me, and it was so simple in a way that anyone can just follow through the tutorial. So yeah, maybe I can post some links
Yep.
as well after
Awesome.
as a follow up.
Awesome. Thank you, God. From Define, can you give out words and messages to
Uh,
all of the people who's watching?
oh, okay. I thought it was like the same message, but I guess try to
Same
talk
message.
to engineers or product owners that you know, so that they can like share their experience in more details and help to guide you. I feel like having a mentor is actually uh, a really crucial thing to have, especially if you are. I mean, I assume if you're really young or just starting out in your career, because I feel like if I don't have great mentors along the way, I wouldn't be here right now. It's quite
Yep.
hard to figure things out on your own. And yeah, even though there are a lot of resources in the internet, it's always better if there is a mentor, if you find a great mentor who can really uh, point things to
Yep.
you. Mm.
A mentor that can actually help you
Mm.
and answer questions. Thank you, Defina. Looking for a mentor and taking tutorials. Maybe you can do that. So the next question is dari Natania from Twitter. Yes, from Twitter. She asks, I'm wondering, apakah ada aplikasi atau produk lainnya yang sebenarnya kakak ingin buat tapi belum terlaksanakan?
Ooh.
Natania. It's mostly it's confidential because you're actually working on it now, I assume.
But I think what she meant is just like an arbitrary
yeah,
app.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It would be cool to have an app that makes it easy for you to dog train. I'm currently uh pet sitting my father's dogs, and they're spoiled rotten. So so yeah,
that
I
would
don't
make a
know.
cool app. That would make an
Yeah,
awesome app.
or like I'm sure there's already an app like you put your camera and then you put it on any dog and it'll show you what breed it is. I'm sure there's already a machine learning app that's already
Dog filterer.
developed.
Dog filter.
Yeah, I
That's
still like,
an
oh, I wonder what breed that is.
awesome ideas. So if you're thinking of a product owner or software developer to anyone who's watching, you must think of them this job, this is coding, but you have to have this creativity as well,
Imagination.
imagination. You have to have a lot of that. So it's
Yeah.
not just coding and hard skill and technical. It's also a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, even for back-end engineers, by the way,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
super
yeah.
creative, how to solve the problems. And
Yep.
I'm getting amazed by how they like can solve unique problems that we have. Yeah.
So, for you, Devina, are there any apps that you actually have ideas on it, but belum terlaksanakan?
Aduh, it's a bit hard because sometimes I'm like, oh, there should be an app for this, but
Yeah.
then I forgot about it, right? Oh, maybe there's not a lot of demands.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like, because maybe I'm a product owner, so I'm a bit
Mhm.
careful about when I think about stuff because I feel it always has to come from the research.
Yep.
So yeah, I tend to just like get random ideas, but it wouldn't be like I wouldn't actually deep dive unless there's a research on
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. 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 But
Right.
there is a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. So I think we almost cover all of the questions, but Kamila tadi kan di awal presentasi katanya ada yang ingin dibahas itu ya. Did I cover it, or
Oh,
is there
yeah, yeah.
anything that you want to add up?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think this applies more. I think this applies for everyone,
Yeah.
even when you just start out or is still in school or is later on in the industry. Okay. Um, okay, I'll share my screen. Yep, this is the four things that worked for me. Again, like finding passion, purpose, and being able to lift up others, meaning my efforts in introducing technology to women in Indonesia is again like thinking about passion and what is the market demand. And a little backstory is I actually took a minor, visual arts minor, when I was in college, because I really love art, and I thought about like, okay, I mean, is this gonna pay the bills? Because then if you know something about ikigai, it's basically this Venn diagram where the Japanese follow. And it's about merging, passion, mission, vocation, profession. And if you've completed all these four, then you've reached ikigai. And it doesn't matter what you do. Say you love cutting grass, it meets what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. So yeah, it makes you happy. So yeah, I graduated. Respecting of the mentor's time, because a mentor is not going to spoon feed you. There's also research that goes um, into what you need to do as well. So yes, I when I started out iOS development, I actually joined a couple of boot camps, and these were all held by Gojek. Um, and also a shout out to Mas Alfian. He's actually my mentor, uh, and he is the one who basically is my stakeholder. Like any apps that I make on my own outside of work, I would always run it by him. Even like setting aside his time, he would actually coach me on how to better do things. So yeah, finding a mentor, talking to your colleagues for any improvement that you can do helps. And again, what I talked about, it's about learning all the time, keeping self up to date with the latest tech stack. Is you can do this by reading blogs or making side projects for fun. And I would say this is the most. The second bullet point that is a surefire way to actually get your creative juices flowing, because this is where you actually think about, oh yeah, how do I approach this? Say, for example, I want to make Instagram. Like, how do they make the UI, or how do they get data of people, and how to do this, how to do that? So that making a side project is excellent. And then also, once you do all that, writing a blog of your own to capture what you liked about the process and what didn't work for you. And the last thing is volunteering, giving back to the community also helps, because if you can teach someone something, then that means you are an expert. So yes, volunteering is always good. And speaking of volunteering, just a little bit about Generation Girl. This is Generation Girl is a nonprofit organization. It encourages girls in Indonesia ages 12 to 16 to take up STEM fields, and or STEAM now, science, technology, art, engineering, math. And this was back in 2018, where we had our first ever boot camp. And we were teaching these girls how to make a website from scratch, from not knowing to code at all, to day 5, where they were able to showcase like a developer, like a professional developer, and using jargons. So yeah, it was indeed very, very heartwarming to see. And I could have sworn I think I had tears in my eyes when I actually showed their showcase. So yeah, it was amazing. So yeah, we're reaching the end of the slideshow, and this is just Instagram handle that I'm associated with. If you want to learn more about Generation Girl, this is it. And we're always hiring at Gojek. If you like to learn what's available, hit me up. And also, I'm cooking something on my own, Code with Mila. It's supposed to be a iOS related content, where I make it in a way so that it's relatable and easier to understand. These are the conclusions. And yes, don't forget to give back to the community, merge passion with what's in demand, and learning all the time, being a great mentee. And yeah, these are all the 4 things that worked for me, and I'm sure it's gonna work for everyone else as well. And in Gojek, there's always this tradition to show there is always a way motto, because indeed those 4 work for me. So yeah, there's always a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Camila, for the awesome presentation. So if you want to know more about coding and yourself, you can follow those Instagram accounts that was shown in the slideshow. Thank you very much. Kak Devina, is there anything that you want to add as well?
No, I think it's okay.
So I just thought of something. Are you familiar with the show Silicon Valley?
Yes.
Are you familiar, Devina, with Silicon Valley?
No, actually.
No. I have a question. Does that really portray the software engineer and development world, Camila? Because I love that show. I love that show. I just
Yeah,
finished
yeah, it
the
does.
last
It
season on
does.
HBO. It does?
Yeah, I would say in some ways,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I love that show. I love seeing that show. So yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a fun session. Make me want to watch Silicon Valley all over again from season 1. From season 1.
Yeah.
Anybody should watch it. It's really cool. It's really funny as well.
Yeah, it is. It
It
is.
is.
fun.
It is.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of coders, engineers, and product owners as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
relatable.
yeah, it's relatable. I thought of both of you just now, and then Silicon Valley. That's it. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you also very much. Now I know just a bit more about the software
Yes.
engineering, software developing world. Thank you very much, Kak Devina Juarsa, and also Kak Fania Ratmila Alfitri, for taking the time here at America for this episode of Get a Hot Job Software Developing. I wish you the best of luck for your future. Stay safe and healthy. And hopefully, there's this time we can meet face to face and talk more about software development,
Yes.
or
Thank
just to
you.
talk, or just to
Thank
talk
you for
about
having
Silicon
us.
Valley, or just talk about Silicon Valley. I'm all good as well. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Once very
you.
much. Happy
Cheers.
weekend, and happy weekend to everyone who's watching. Stay safe and healthy, and see you next time. Now passing it back to the e-guide. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm still here. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching this episode of Get a Hot Job. And today's session is about software development. But I'll be signing out. Am I still here? Am I still here? I'm dancing.
Silakan ngomong, Asna.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you so much to our speakers, Camila and Kak Devina, and also our moderator, Karafi, for today's very fruitful discussion. I hope that everyone had fun and gained a lot of knowledge and insights today. And earlier in the session, we asked audience members a trivia question, and that question was, in what decade was the first software developed? And the correct answer to that is B, 1940s. Shout out goes out to @Trisinas from Instagram for answering the question correctly. And thank you to everyone else who has also participated on our question of the day. Now you may be wondering, how can I develop an awesome idea for Ad America? It's very easy. All you need to do is visit us or on our website on www.atmerica.org.id, and then you can select create an event and collaborate with us. All event proposals coming to us will be reviewed, and your event might be featured with us soon. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social medias on Instagram, Twitter, and also Facebook at AT America for our event updates, fun content, and so much more. With that, I think it is time to say goodbye. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. My name is Genara, and see you soon at the next Ad America event. Goodbye.